Hey folks, in this video, let's talk about India's growth prospects as per the report released by a Pune-based analytics firm. Research and Markets came out with a report outlining how they view India's growth story playing out in the next 2 decades. Here you can see how India's GDP fared starting in 1980 and then projections from 2026 up to 2047. Yellow line that you see is nominal GDP growth rate. That means real GDP growth plus inflation. And early 2000s were an amazing period for Indian economy. 16% on average nominal GDP growth rate from '04 to '08. There is no comparable time period like this in India's recent past. This is something China achieved, but for 40 years in a row. India did it for 4 to 5 years. And going forward from 2026 onwards, they are projecting roughly 9 to 10% nominal GDP growth rate for Indian economy, which means 6 to 7% real GDP growth rate and 3 to 4% inflation. When you add that up, it comes out to be around 9 to 10% nominal growth. But their projection that India will get to a $30 trillion economy by 2047 is quite ambitious. A lot of things need to go right for this projection to come to pass. One fascinating phenomenon they pointed out in the report is that it took 60 years for India to reach its first $1 trillion in GDP. India became a $1 trillion economy in 2007. The next trillion came in just 7 years in 2014. The next trillion also came in just 7 years despite the COVID 19 shock in 2021. The next trillion in just 4 years, 2021 to 2025. India stands as a $4 trillion economy in 2025 and is poised to keep adding $1 trillion to its GDP every 18 months going forward. That is the magic of compounding. There are many factors that will drive India's growth according to the report. One of the main factors is rising middle class. Between 2015 and 2040, a lot of Indians will move from aspirer class to middle class. Middle class is quite a broad income range starting at 5 lakh rupees per year to 30 lakh rupees per year. But by 2040, middle class and rich will make up over 80% of India's population. And by the same year, poverty is expected to fall below 1%. Urbanization and infrastructure development is another major growth driver. India's urbanization rate is expected to cross 50% over the next decade from 36% at present. Mega cities, mega regions, and mega corridors will take shape. India is expected to spend over $290 billion per year on infrastructure through 2030. If spent well, maybe at some point India's urban population will get relief from hellish traffic conditions, flooding, and sickening air quality that they deal with now. Then some key industries will also drive India's growth. Automotive, chemicals, oil and gas, healthcare, space industry, tech sector, semiconductor and electronics, food and beverages industry, just to mention a few. Let's look at some of these industries. In automotive industry, all sectors are expected to see above 5% CAGR till 2030. Basically, between 2023 and 2030, sales in all segments are expected to grow by 50%. Notably, passenger vehicle sales will hit 6 million per year and two-wheeler sales will cross 25 million per year. You think you see so many two-wheelers around you now? Wait till 2030. Another key industry, oil and gas, that is energy. It is at the heart of a nation's economic growth. India's oil demand is expected to keep on rising to peak at between 9 to 12 million barrels per day sometime in 2045. India has surplus oil refining capacity. It is the fourth largest refining hub in the world at present. India not only refines the oil it needs domestically but also exports refined oil. But it is heavily dependent on others to get crude oil. So, India will need to up its oil and gas exploration game a lot in the coming decades. There is a lot more in the report about the prospects of India's healthcare industry, space, tech sector, artificial intelligence, data centers, chemicals, and so on. It is all very encouraging. I'll leave the link in the description below that you can check out. I thought in this video I'll just go over a few key points. The future looks promising for India. I hope you found this analysis interesting. I'll speak with you again next week. Until then, take care.